Hello and welcome everyone to Sherlock Holmes Crimes and Punishments. After solving the Abbey Grange affair, we now have a new case, the Kew Gardens drama.
Holmes, for heaven's sake, whatever's going on?
Oh, hello, Watson. You're early. Did you kill all of your patients?
What? Holmes, where have all these wretched bees come from?
I increased the temperature of the room so as to prevent them from hibernating. I needed to take a sample of honey. But it worked, Watson. We will have honey all year round.
Ridiculous and dangerous.
They're
I mean, that's one way of doing
bees, Apis mellifera, such industrious workers. Anyway, Watson, I am sorry, but I must leave you. I'm in rather a hurry.
You have a new case?
Yes, but nothing as thrilling as this experiment. A theft of plants at the Royal Botanic Gardens in Kew. I'm helping a minister who's an old friend of mine. You can join me if you like.
Well, I'll admit that I'd far rather accompany you than remain alone here with these workers of yours. Besides, you'll need a helping hand with the flowers you're intending to bring back.
Watson, however did you guess?
For the great Sherlock Holmes to bother with the theft of plants. Come on, admit that you're planning to spoil your little bees with some rare pollens.
Since when did I become so transparent? Let
Oh,
us
look
go.
at Watson. He's learning. Let's go to the... let's first check out our souvenirs. Ah, it was a silver fork. Okay. Kew Gardens. Alright. Let's go. I'm sure there will be more to it than it seems.
Well, Holmes, here we are at the Royal Botanic Gardens. There's no doubt that this place is beautiful. But are you really intent on investigating the theft of the plants?
Yes, of course.
Okay. That's what we intend to do.
Don't touch anything else, is that clear? Just go and get a bucket of fertilizer. And without turning it over this time. Good day to you, gentlemen. How may I help you? If you are here for a visit, please do come back on Sunday.
I am afraid that it cannot wait. My name is Sherlock Holmes, and this is my friend and colleague, Dr. Watson. We are investigating the theft of plants that took place here 5 days ago. A remarkable collection, I believe.
So you're the one in charge, eh?
A small favour for a friend. Now, to whom do I have the pleasure of speaking?
I am Martin Hamish. I am the Deputy Director of Kew Gardens. And that fellow yonder is Albert. He works here.
I am delighted to meet you. What can you tell us about the plants?
They were rare and exceptional plants. We presented them at our last exhibition. We haven't removed the stand yet. It is still in the large glass house.
Okay.
We only learned of their disappearance the evening after the exhibition, and nobody saw anything.
No doors were forced?
No, but I would imagine that for a thief it would be fairly easy to gain entry, for there are no guards here.
Well, if you don't mind, we will take a look. Now, you say that it is in the large glass house.
Yes, the one just behind me. Just a second, since Albert has nothing else to do. Albert, show these gentlemen where the exhibition was held.
How many people work here?
Only myself, but occasionally 2 students, Albert, whom you have met, and Miss White.
Okay. So 3 people. With direct access.
Here it is. This is the place where the stolen plants were exhibited.
Thank you. Is there something the matter?
Yes, there is. All right, the plants were valuable and rare, but it seems to me that the tragedy that took place here only 2 days ago has been entirely forgotten already.
What tragedy are you referring to?
The director of Kew Gardens, Mr. Montague Dunn, he died here just 2 days ago.
Oh.
We're very sorry. We were not aware. The two of you were good friends?
He was my father.
Oh.
Dear. Our condolences.
Mr.
We
Hamish
should not
seemed
be
very...
troubled. Please do excuse us for the intrusion.
You say that he died here, in the
Ignoring of
large
that
glass
fact.
house.
Holmes?
Yes, just here, near the door to the colonial collection. He suffered a heart attack. Just like that. So suddenly. It was terrible. Excuse me, gentlemen, but I cannot remain here. If you need me, I'll be in the reserve. That's the room next to the front of the large greenhouse.
Of course, we understand.
Seems rather cruel to send Albert here if his father died.
The plants were here. All of them were stolen.
Do not touch.
But the plants were stolen before, right?
Here is a list of the stolen plants.
Okay.
According to Albert, this is where his father, Montague Dunn, was found dead.
Oh, what do we have here?
Soil. It should have come from a flower pot. The soil on the side of this flower shelf is the same as that on the ground. Fragments of a flower pot. It fell down here.
We have some footprints.
The traces are thinner in some places. These boot marks are fresh. It appears as though someone was dragging their feet. The footprints reveal that someone staggered here.
Okay, I think we might have a bigger case than just stolen
This
plants.
sign is broken. Something heavy was dropped upon it.
Maybe the body. Watson.
Blood.
Blood.
Someone fell violently against this sign, and they were injured in the clash. Most likely a head wound.
Okay, well. Watson, you're in the way.
This pot was broken fairly recently. A flower pot recently fell down from these shelves and was misplaced.
Okay, then we have a door.
The door was smashed at shoulder height. This door handle is new. It was recently changed.
Interesting. So some sign of force?
The esconson was breached near the handle.
Yeah, someone kicked on the door.
The door was forced from the inside of the colonial collection room. The handle was changed afterwards.
I think we need to inspect the colonial collection room.
I agree.
All the clues around here are quite suspicious. I need my imagination to make sense of it all.
I will do that in
Very
a second.
strange. Half of the smell is strong. It is a detergent.
Something was cleaned here.
This broken fragment was the result of a heavy blow. A fragment of marble, most likely chipped from a statue or sculpture.
Sounds like someone was attacked, maybe.
These windows were perfectly cleaned. Part of this greenhouse was emptied and thoroughly cleaned.
Very interesting. Oops. There we go. Breaking the door. No. No, deactivate. No! There we go. Knocking over the pot and fell down. Something happened in there. It went out. Trying to escape, but was too weak. Boom, dead.
This reconstruction reveals a disturbing fact. Montague Dunn damaged the door of the Colonial Collection Room.
He was in a panic, or the door was locked. Was it an accident, or a murder then, I wonder?
Oh. Go back into the Colonial Collection Room and look around a little bit more.
According to this, they have light and moisture control in some parts of the building. These plants come from all the territories of the British Empire.
Okay. Oh, let's see what we can deduct. Perform autopsy. Ooh. Oh, we have to go to Scotland Yard for that. See if we can look around a little bit though. Anyway. Can find something else beforehand.
Dry tropics.
Ooh, there was something. Was there something?
According to this, they have light and moisture control in some parts of the building.
Okay, it's the same again. Watson.
These flower pots are beautiful. They are intended to be used for exhibition purposes.
Could they be one of the pots part of the pieces that we
The
found?
symbol is not from Kew Gardens.
Oh. That's interesting. Just a dry tropic sign.
There is a smell of burning.
Oh. Oh. Someone's burning something. Aha.
The symbol is not from Kew Gardens. A
Gas
protective mask.
Okay.
Someone set it alight, but it did not burn. The plants were set alight fairly recently. Some have not completely burned. A broom handle was half burned.
What else do we have? Picture frame.
The remains of a picture frame.
What's up with this? How would someone do this? Other than to hide evidence,
A
but
door handle.
it's a weird
Why
collection.
would anyone throw such a thing in the fire?
Yeah.
The door
it's the
handle
door
to the
handle.
Colonial
Yeah.
Collection and that of the fireplace are made of the same material.
Okay. Interesting. Oh, I think we have a crime committed. This place. I mean, not we. We didn't commit a crime, but we found. Okay.
Director's office, cloakroom, and laboratory. Palm house. Water lily greenhouse.
Gives us a good idea of the setup.
Colonial collection. Dry tropics. Ventilation system. Seed house. Nursery.
I'm not quite sure if I want to go to do the autopsy first and then look around more.
A ventilation system. It should regulate the
Probably
temperature
makes sense
of the
since we will
staff
also have
buildings.
more questions to ask the people around.
A water tank.
So maybe I'll just leave it at that for now. Go to Scotland Yard and see what the autopsy says.
I asked Inspector Lestrade to take Montague Dunn's body to Scotland Yard.
It's ready for autopsy then.
Perfect. Do we have something in the evidence room? Do. Let's see.
This watch is of great value.
Club card.
A membership card for the London Crest Club. A beautiful feather pen of a good make.
Pretty expensive stuff. And a letter. To Mr. F. Wayne, director of Wayne & Sons Printing Company, my friend. Your posters for the great exhibition at Kew Gardens are very beautiful, but it is surely unnecessary to mention all of the staff. My name alone will be sufficient. Oh, okay. That's very nice of him. Very humble. There we go.
First of all, let us carry out an external examination.
Okay, so face.
There is an injury to the skull, most probably caused by the fall in the water lily greenhouse.
It's likely.
The vessels and the pupil of the eye appear quite normal. The air from the lungs carries a faint floral aroma.
That's interesting.
There are no suspicious marks upon the chest. Let us finish our external examination so that we can proceed with the autopsy.
The hand.
No redness, stings, or bruises. Nothing suspicious here.
Nothing there either.
Now, let us examine the internal organs.
Okay. Let's dig around a little bit. Where's the
The
heart?
heart's blood vessels show no pathological signs.
That's interesting considering that he's supposed to have died of a heart attack.
The heart tissue shows no visible pathological signs. The lungs are congested and edematous.
Oh!
The tissue on the inferior lobe of the right lung is damaged, most probably caused by toxins from an unknown plant.
Oh, maybe someone poisoned him with pollen.
The stomach tissues show no visible pathological signs. There is a small amount of content. It appears that he breakfasted lightly, only a short while before his death.
Let's look at the liver.
The liver is enlarged. It would seem that he was suffering from an alcohol addiction. The liver tissue is brown. There are no visible pathological signs. My suspicions have been substantiated. Montague Dunn, the director of Kew Gardens, died from poisoning. Plant poisoning, to be more exact.
You mean...
Yes.
It is murder.
We should inform Lestrade.
Yes, but do remember, Watson, that I discovered the murder. The challenge is mine.
The challenge, Holmes?
We need to locate that deadly plant. Such a perfect murder appeals to me.
Murder of any kind appeals to you. Is that all we need to do?
No. We also have the people working at Kew Gardens. Martin Hamish and the son of the victim, Albert Dunn.
And also Miss White, of whom we spoke with Mr. Hamish. Should we bring them all here for interrogation?
No. A few innocuous questions at Kew will suffice, as well as a discreet delve into their personal affairs. Yes, Watson, it is time now to open the doors.
Even those in the staff building. I suppose that is necessary.
We should also be concerned with the victim himself. After all, we don't know very much about Montague Dunn.
You're enjoying this already, aren't you?
More than a little.
He's having a great time. Okay, let's have a look. He was trapped and got poisoned. Alright. So I guess we return
Locked.
to Kew Garden. Or we can take our time talking to the people, looking around a little more closely. Maybe new things popped up. Now that we are sure that we are, in fact, dealing with murder. Okay. Is that Hamish? Yes. Inexpensive glasses. Dirty collar. I guess that comes with the job. Unmarried. Gardener's hands. Makes sense.
Mr. Hamish, can you explain to us what happened to the colonial collection? It seems somewhat depleted.
But, most likely maintenance work, tidying up.
You're not sure, then? But you're the deputy director.
Well, I am busy. I cannot be everywhere at once.
Well, he's lovely.
Albert told us about the tragic death of Mr. Dunn, the late director of Kew Gardens.
Tragic indeed. His heart attack was quite unexpected.
As deputy director, how was your relationship with Montague Dunn?
To be honest with you, Mr. Holmes, it could have been better. You see, every Tuesday he would carry out his inspection of the gardens, but it was solely to make an impression, a great pretense that he cared at all. He would give out absurd orders, ignoring anyone else's opinion. He would then disappear for the rest of the week. He was what some might call a man of action. I'd say rather he was overzealous and chaotic. So after all, it was no wonder, perhaps, that he ended up like that, if you take into consideration his kind of lifestyle.
Okay, so what is that lifestyle?
You mentioned that Mr. Dunn led a particular lifestyle.
Well, it's no secret that he enjoyed, celebrating, shall we say. He was a member of the London Smart Set. He was famous for it. That and...
And?
He had an eye for the ladies, to put it mildly, Mr. Holmes.
Saucy.
Tell me, Mr. Hamish, do you grow the more deadly variety of plant here?
You mean insectivorous? Yes, but nothing larger than that.
Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue our investigation.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. Like, he really doesn't care, or didn't care for Dunn. Doesn't necessarily make him a murderer, just a prick. But it also seems like Montague Dunn might have been a bit of a prick himself.
Can I help you, gentlemen?
A task list for Albert, compiled by Martin Hamish. Sweep out the palm house, scrub the toilets, clean the storage shed tools.
Lovely tasks. Doesn't seem like there's anything else. Let's talk to him a little more closely. Red eyes, wept recently, consumed by grief. Paving cut. Seems to be really struggling by the death of his father. Makes sense. Clean hands.
Who is Miss Margaret White?
Ah, she is the young lady who studies with me. She visits here sometimes to help out with the greenhouses. In fact, she should be here today. She wanted to work at the seed house. That's the small greenhouse across from the large glass house.
Okay.
Do you work here?
Yes, but part-time only, for I'm also studying botany at the University of London.
You're following in your father's footsteps, then. That is commendable.
Well, even if botany is not my strongest suit, there are people who say that I could be a good manager.
Can you tell us more about the colonial collection?
We noticed that a part of the colonial collection has been cleared.
Ah, at the moment I'm just dealing with the storage room. I don't know much about the other rooms.
Very, very interesting that nobody wants to talk about that. What was your relationship with your father?
I imagine that your relationship with your father may have been a strained one.
Yes. I cannot say that he was a kind man, for he never listened to me at all. He forced me to work here. But now, after his death, I've been pondering it over. Perhaps he wasn't so wrong about me after all. I have to follow his path, and I have to manage Kew Gardens, and I can do it. I can be as good as any other who works here.
Okay, that's the spirit. What about Martin Hamish? What do you think about him?
Would you please tell us about Martin Hamish, the deputy director?
Well, I have to tell you that Mr. Hamish is not and has never been the deputy director of Kew Gardens. My father would not have tolerated it.
Indeed. That is most interesting. He told us that he was.
Yes, because he believes that the management should be passed down to him now that my father is dead. But in actual fact, Mr. Hamish only has the honour of being the garden's longest-serving employee. In fact, if we are to think logically at all, it should be me who takes over the management of Kew Gardens.
Do you not have a good relationship with Mr. Hamish?
I suppose so. But we have very little in common. Mr. Hamish loves his plants and Kew Gardens, and I cannot say that I share his passion.
I see. And how was his relationship with your father?
Oh, he hated my father. It was obvious. He would be furious whenever my father boasted of Kew Gardens in the newspapers or at conferences. He was convinced that my father was stealing all of the credit for himself. That my father treated Mr. Hamish in the same way as he treated anyone. Dismissively. With indifference.
Thank you, young man. We shall see you again soon.
Well, any update with Hamish?
What is your opinion of Albert as a student of botany?
He's useless. I often tell him so. and I can only give him cleaning tasks. Botany is not his life's work, and his father well knew it. He was furious about it.
He was?
Oh, yes. He forced his son to work here, and he never missed an opportunity to criticize him publicly.
Are you able to elaborate on that?
Well, for example, with our last exhibition here, Mr. Dunn had Albert make a presentation speech. But then, while the lad was speaking, Mr. Dunn interrupted him, asking him difficult questions, making him look like a failure.
Oof.
It was with the intention of making a fool of him, Mr. Holmes.
That must have been terribly humiliating.
Yes, he was crushed, and he had to leave. Everybody was making fun of poor Albert. That is, except for Miss Margaret White, who is such a nice lady and who always takes pity on Albert.
You mentioned a Miss White.
Yeah, tell me more.
Would you tell us more about her?
She is a student who works here part-time. She is quite charming indeed. She possesses a great talent for botany. You should take a look at some of her experiments that she carried out in the laboratory. Ah, if only she were not so naive.
Why naive?
The way she used to flutter around Mr. Montague Dunn. And why, he couldn't help but be flattered by all her attention. How could an intelligent woman such as Miss White not see through his game? I can only scratch my head and wonder.
Very
Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue our investigation.
So it definitely seems like both Albert
Locked.
as well as
Locked.
Hamish, Martin Hamish, both have motive for the murder. Not super strong ones, to be honest, but there is some
Locked.
motive. I want to talk to Ms. White. There we go. She's supposed to be in the nursery, or was she in the seeding room? There she is. Is entering the seed house. Thank you. Oh, let's talk to her then.
Open.
Open! Around first, and then we'll talk to her. But she seemed to have a better relationship with Montague Dunn. Not to the liking of... Okay. Not to the liking of Martin Hamish, but still.
These leather gloves are new and of good quality. They do not appear to have been used.
Okay.
Materials for college study. They belong to Albert. This place serves as Albert's office. A book about ships. Nothing at all to do with plants.
Ah, he might be more interested in that.
From here, we are unable to see the interior of the Colonial Collection Room.
Oh, it's probably... probably to see whether or not Montague Dunn was in there. You couldn't from here. Okay.
Good day to you, miss. You have some very beautiful plants here.
Why, thank you, sir. And good day to you, too. But...
Oh, I do beg your pardon. My name is Dr. John Watson. This is my good friend, Mr. Sherlock Holmes.
I am honored to make your acquaintance, gentlemen. My name is Margaret White. Excuse me, but are you Sherlock Holmes, the great detective?
Yes, I am he.
What a pleasure to see you here at Kew Gardens. Are you working on a case?
Well, we are definitely working on a case. First, we sniff up some expensive perfume. Past malnutrition from poor family. Interesting. Unmarried. Okay.
Yes, a theft of plants that took place here a few days ago after their most recent exhibition.
Oh, yes, of course. I quite forgot about that.
Oh, it's quite understandable that you might forget about the theft of the plants, miss, after the tragedy that took place here.
Yes. The director was a truly good man. It is such a terrible misfortune.
Okay. Can you finally tell us about the anti-colonial collection?
Would you happen to know why part of the colonial collection was cleared?
No, I have never been there.
Oh, okay. So you work here?
Do you work here?
Part-time only. I am a biology student at the London University. I attend the same classes as the son of Mr. Montague Dunn. That is how I found my chance to work here for part of my thesis, you see. It is a great honor.
What was your relationship with the director?
How well did you know Mr. Montague Dunn?
He was a master, a great leader. I saw him almost as a spiritual father.
He had an exceptional nature?
Oh yes, indeed. He was always so active and so optimistic, and very nice to me. Although he could behave harshly towards his son.
Why so?
He loved his son dearly and wanted the very best for him. It made him extremely demanding. Albert, who is naturally shy, suffered because of it.
Okay.
Most of the doors in Kew Gardens are locked. Do you have a key to this room?
Oh, yes. Albert gave me a set of duplicate keys. He agreed I might carry out my studies without disturbing him. It is only temporary.
Okay.
Thank you, miss. None of the 3 people who work at Kew Gardens know why half of the colonial collection was cleared. So, someone is lying. It is obvious.
That is obvious indeed. What do we do now then? Okay, so we have to search the archives for these symbols. Search the archives for the plans. Okay, then let's go back to Baker Street. Anything that we can deduct here? Albert's ambition. And here we are back at Baker Street, but that is a good time to take a break, and then we will continue our investigation. Next time we will go through our archives for all of the things that we need to look up, and then return to the murderous gardens in Kew. Thank you all for watching today's episode. If you enjoyed it, please give the video a like. Maybe consider subscribing to the channel if you like what you saw. Also, share the video with friends and family on the internet. That all helps me out a whole bunch and will bring you more content in the future. If you want to go the extra mile in supporting the channel, go check out the Patreon link down below, and I will be back with more Sherlock Holmes Crimes and Punishments tomorrow. Until then, have a great time.